What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Infusion Breakdown Show. It's your boy Joshua Freeman. To my left, I got Mr. Bryan Carey. To my right, Mr. Desmond Tillmon. What's up? The question of the day will be, what will make the world a better place? If everybody loved each other or if everybody trusted each other? So, what do you guys think? I don't know who wants to tackle this first.
I'll take it. Or
go ahead. I was going to say you can start off on this one.
Okay. So I say the world would be better if we trusted each other, because trust is currency. If someone gives you their word and says they're going to do something and they do it, and you don't have to worry about checking them or, verifying, the validity of what they say or going behind them, then you can proceed forward and eliminate all that. And you can also look at it as, is there really a necessity of love in every situation? Per se, like a business you're conducting business with. So Bank of America, do I have to love the bank? I don't. As long as I can trust that they take care of my money, it's fine. They're FDIC backed. So I think it's America Bank and Trust. It's in their name, I believe. Let me check that.
You said that's in their name?
Yeah, you don't have to love the bank as long as you take care of my money.
What, as far as you said, trust is currency. What exactly do you mean by that?
I can take your word for it.
Oh, okay.
You can come to an agreement and operate off that.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Trust is currency.
What?
Trust is currency. There's a lot of broke motherfuckers out here. I'm going to go with the same idea that the world would be a better place if we trusted each other in comparison to loving each other. And I think that's just because trust is kind of like that insurance plan. You don't have to exert much energy towards it. It's just a doing of an action. And if the action is done, then the trust is there. If the action isn't done, then the trust obviously isn't there. It's not necessarily a make or break deal. Mm-hmm. And whereas with love is kind of like that thing to where you kind of naturally evolve into accepting things that aren't necessarily natural, like actions that you would not do. Mm-hmm. But say if it is done by, I guess, Bank of America, or Bank of America, they make a mistake, end up charging you a $29 return check fee for something that was too late or not taken out, period.
Right.
And that's like one of those things where, okay, well, I don't want to do that no more. If you guys can't double check the work that you're doing to make sure, you're providing me the service that I'm given, then I'm gonna go with somebody else. Same thing with trust. Like, if you're trusting a bank to do this, so I'm not gonna say the same thing as trust, but on the trust department, if a bank makes this same mistake, you can forgive them, because obviously you're saying that humans are mistakes, and it's not like these banks are run by robots. Human error, you always have to take that into account for that. And with trust, you're able to do that. Whereas human error, when it comes to love, you're more and more and more and more forgiving and inclined to forgive things that come with love. And then it's always going to get worse before it gets better. Like, because there's always that gray area. It's like, okay, if I got away with this, then what else can I get away with? You kind of get it?
Kind of. And then also, we hurt people that we love anyway. Not always
intentionally, but it happens.
But it's a consequence. But could you really hurt somebody if there's an established trust and they're going to do what they say?
Can you?
I don't think so. I don't think you can hurt somebody like that.
You said,
unless you tell them, I'm going to hurt you, and you're going to follow through with it because you have that trust.
You don't think people have their decisions?
Of course we do. Each other. And I'm saying, like, if everyone had absolute trust in each other, and they were who they said they were.
If everybody actually did that, though, would that doesn't mean like they wouldn't do bad things to each other, though. So how would you balance that out? As far as because I trust you doesn't mean that you won't rob my house. I mean,
saying trusting you. If I say I am going to rob your house, then you know I'm going to rob your house.
Well, okay. What are you saying as far as if I say it and you trust? Wait, what do you say?
Well, there has to be a mutual bond for trust.
Yeah.
Trust isn't something that's just given. It is blindly given, And I don't think that's trust. That's blind faith. And those are definitely two separate things. But I think like if we're going to sit here and talk about the world on automatic assumption that there is a mutual consensus that trust is between two people, and it has to be between two people. It's mutually there. It's not just, oh, well, hey, I trust you. It's like, well, why do you trust me? You know, it's just the understanding that, you know, the trust is there between two people.
Gotcha.
I was thinking more so on a macro scale. Like, if you trust absolutely that no one's going to break into your house, you know, you could leave the door open. That's not the case. Trust. There's no necessity for that. Things like that.
Gotcha. Well, you said as far as blind faith, is that bad? Like, as far as...
Is having blind faith bad?
Yeah. As far
when it
as
comes to trust, yeah. But I think blind faith with love is a different thing.
Is that only as far as in the essence of people, or... Because people have blind faith in religion all the time. You saying that's bad too? Because, I mean...
Religion is taboo for me. Because I think a lot of people do have a lot of, like, blind faith in religion. And their belief... Everything, like... How I see religion is I think a lot of it is passed down, not by people who are doing their own research and like, reading the scriptures themselves. It's like
family tradition.
Well, no. I'm talking about, like, in... Like going to church, like I'm not gonna say very rarely because I don't have the knowledge of it. But I'm gonna say like people who go to church, they get their knowledge of God from the church, not them actually going and reading the Bible and doing the necessary. There are some people who go to Bible study on Wednesdays and do everything because actually studying and read the Word and live by the Word. And then there's a great portion of the population who gets their service and their knowledge of God by going to those Sunday services and those Sunday services only, and letting that be just their drive. So that's kind of like a blind faith thing. Like you are in a state of, I'm not gonna say desperation, but how I kind of like try and like understand why people turn to religion is like you're in a state of desperation and you need something to look forward to because mentally you're just so far gone that internally there's nothing for you to look forward to. If you go to a church, there's like, okay, well, this is what your Lord and Savior is doing for you. You have something to look forward to. Like if I'm staying on this routine and God is going to provide for me what the pastor said he's going to provide for me if I stay to this routine, and then if I'm staying to a dedicated routine and I'm producing solid outcomes and actually getting somewhere than when I was by myself, then you're going to have that blind faith in God because it worked for you. That's what it provided an outcome. Instead of actually like realizing like, okay, I actually had the discipline and the wherewithal to actually buckle down. And if I would have did this even without going to church, I might have achieved the same outcome. So I think like when it comes to religion, is that I'm not gonna say weakness, but there's a need for a void to be filled so you can feel complete. Because it's not necessarily emptiness in the sense of like hopelessness, but there's some emptiness there where they like feel that they can't do something, but they don't know why they can't do something. They need a driving force, somebody to get in the driver's seat with them. Whereas I'm like I'm not gonna say I am of the belief, but I definitely I am more in tune with free will and you doing whatever you can set your mind to.
So is that bad in that sense that they do that, or is
having blind faith? No, because it gives them an outcome that they want.
Okay, so it's okay in the sense as far as like a religion, but as far as people,
okay. If we're talking about like on like the global scale, I'm gonna say no, it's not bad because with religion there is a certain like people take more good than they take bad. Like I feel like people who go to church, yeah, I might not believe in everything they say, but you're preaching morality, you're preaching responsibility. Like if people are actually taking heed to that, then there's going to be a lot of good from it. But if we're getting like to the bare nitty gritty of what religion is, then I think that's where blind faith comes into play. Like there's no questioning, there's no doing research. It's you taking what a pastor is saying and applying it to your life because it needs that structure.
I disagree with that. Where you said the blind faith is good, boy, they take more good than bad. So what about all these religious wars that have occurred in the past? So let's say the Crusades.
Yeah.
So all these lives are lost because of religious war. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes a lot of people make is just being indoctrinated by, whoever is passing on their faith instead of doing their own research and reading and being personally, familiar, taking that responsibility to know what you're talking about, to know what you believe, and getting to the root of it.
Is that? Are you saying that's like a weakness of trust? Of like if everybody trusted each other?
No, I was just
counteracting.
just comment on what he had to say.
I gotcha.
I think, but I wasn't more or less taking like the historical context, because obviously for every argument there's a counter. But I was more or less looking like from the, I guess you could look at the black community, like blacks who are more inclined to go to church and have something to believe in typically amount to something more than, if they were to get out of their situation or have something to look forward to get out of that situation, rather than them just being products of their environment. Mm-hmm. That church, that religion is, that light at the end of the tunnel, whereas, what they go through on an everyday basis is not the ideal situation for somebody who doesn't necessarily come from a state of poverty. Mm-hmm. So that's how I was trying to look at it, not from the perspective of the religious wars and the countless genocides that have resulted from people blindly believing in religion. I was looking at more from like a 21st century standpoint, and even today it's the same stuff, but there's a 21st century American standpoint.
Gotcha, makes sense. What do you guys think though? You guys agree with Desmond? You agree with Bryan? What do you guys think? But that's interesting though. I actually agree with you guys though. I would say trust. I would say there would be a better place if everybody trusted each other rather than love. Mm-hmm. But before I go a little bit deeper into that, what do you guys, the implications would be if everybody did love each other, as far as in life? What do you guys think?
It'd be a bundle of confusion.
Yeah, we do. There's a thin line between love and hate, which is really cliche. But if you think about it, a lot of the things that we do that are, I guess, a lot of the nastier sides of human nature are done. They're the crimes of passion, or the things done because you feel so strongly about someone.
In the heat of the moment.
Yeah. So that opens up the possibility for more of that.
Gotcha. So as far as, do you think, because I'm pretty sure you guys said that trust, we do more trusting than loving as far as people in society right now. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that?
Yeah.
More trust than... What do you think?
I would say so.
You would say so? Okay. What do you guys think? You guys think people do more trust and love? So, but yeah, I was just asking as far as that. I actually agree with you guys. I think the same way as far as why people trust each other. As far as with love, I think people's actions won't always be rational. So I mean, if you love somebody, you don't always do rational stuff. You don't always think. You think emotion, like how you were saying before. Like you started thinking more with emotion rather than logics, and that's to do with love. So
current situations.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's how I'll basically tack onto that. But what do you guys think though? Would the world be a better place if everybody loved each other, or if everybody trusted each other? Comment below. Let us know. Okay. That kind of goes into the next question I wanted to talk about, basically about relationships and how they kind of changed. Because I know this is a generational thing. Well, you guys can talk about that, but it's kind of like a generational thing because we started a talking stage, as far as talking stage, and then after that we do a dating stage. So I just wanted to get with you guys' opinions about that, as far as how do you guys think it affected society? Is it good? Does it affect boys more than girls? Does it affect girls more than boys? Like, what do you guys think?
So just our overall take on...
Yes.
Okay.
You guys want to do it? You don't care?
I think the talking phase is just... It's ridiculous. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I think it's ridiculous because it's... What people don't realize, in the talking phase, you do things you would do while dating. Mm-hmm. So I think people should actually sit down and think about it and realize what we perceive as the talking phase is actually the dating phase. And then from that dating phase, a relationship manifests. And within that relationship, you keep the same trends, same events, same admirations and affirmations going to keep the relationship going. Because what happens is people are in the talking phase and they're doing things that they would do while dating. And then once the relationship comes, it's like kick your shoes off and everything goes into cruise control.
Yeah.
Instead of realizing that the dating phase is just part of the relationship. It's the initial kickoff, and then from that the relationship grows, and then you just find new ways to keep that dating phase alive, because life is going to throw a lot of curveballs at you. Your significant others is going to throw a lot of curveballs at you, and you have to like keep coming up with new innovative ways to keep stuff fresh, because a lot of relationships grow old and tired because people forget what it was that got that person in the first place. They forget what attracted that person to you to begin with, and that's just a result of us abandoning the dating phase altogether, because now it's been misconstrued in what is perceived today to be the talking phase. Like, oh, we're not talking anymore, so now you need to do this, now you need to do that. Like, it's talking phase allows you to basically do what you want to do without having an official title on it.
Right.
It's almost like a hostage situation.
Interesting.
Okay. So
you agree with that?
I think your viewpoint is very similar, if not almost exactly the same as mine. So my idea was it's like the idea of a talking stage is a planet, what was previously dating.
Yeah.
It's almost like an eclipse. So my idea with talking is when you first encounter somebody, you meet them, and this is how I rationalize it, at least. And then you guys like text, call, whatever, up until the first time you meet. Then that's a date. A date, all that is when two people have some degree of mutual interest in one another, and they spend some time to see if they're compatible. That's all a date is. And so if you continue to do that, you're dating. You continue to go on dates. That's dating. And so the misconception, I believe, the reason people do that is the misconception that dating is exclusive. And they don't want to commit themselves or box themselves in or be committed to one person. Where there's nothing wrong with dating multiple people. You just got to be upfront about it, because dating is, like I said, all it is going out and spending time and seeing if you're compatible with somebody, and whatever it entails with that. But talking, the inception of it, I first heard of it. It's a relatively new term, like the past 10 years, I would say. Would you guys agree?
10 years? I think way more than that.
Okay.
I don't know about way more, but
so when I first heard it, it was kind of like downplaying somebody, like in a situation. So it's like, oh well,
we just talk.
Wait,
yeah,
what do you mean?
exactly.
Downplaying.
That was
you and so together? No, we just talk.
We just talk.
Nah,
it's
we
like
just talk.
It's like you're advocating.
Interesting.
Or you're like I said, you're downplaying that person's significance, or like you're almost like you're ashamed of them, or you would never take that person seriously.
Interesting. When did you think this like take place? Like in early high school, middle school?
Early high school, probably. That's around the first time I heard it.
Like when do you think? Like early high school.
Early high school.
Yeah, I guess. That's interesting. But yeah, as far as with me, the talking stage has always been like, as far how I always viewed it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I viewed it a little bit different from you guys, but basically, well, we're committed to each other, so technically, like, we can't go talking to other people, of course, and like sleeping around and everything like that. We just getting to know each other. Like, you said it was like you kind of compared it to like the engagement to like the a honeymoon phase. You kind of compared it to like the honeymoon phase to the actual settling down, right? You don't think you compared it that way?
You're referring to last week?
No, I'm talking about as far
what
as,
I just said.
Yeah, what you just said.
What are you specifically phrasing as the honeymoon phase?
Well, as far as the talking stage.
He's saying like when you said like you're doing things that you would be doing dating, and then once you get comfortable, that stuff changes. And you stop doing it because you feel like, oh, I got it.
Yeah, I kind of feel you kind of.
You talking about like so you're saying honeymoon phase will really be like cupcake phase?
Yeah, like the honeymoon phase, like oh yeah, ha ha ha, like oh yeah, my baby, like kind of. You kind of.
But the thing is though, like that should actually transition to a relationship. Yeah, it should actually all that stuff should continue.
Yeah,
like people frown upon that stuff, but then like they frown on it, not realizing that that's really what they would want in their relationship. Something like some level of adoration. Like I think certain people want that, and they just are so they're so conditioned to their current situation that they don't realize that that's what they want.
Makes sense. I feel like I was saying, I look at the talking stage as far as like getting to know each other though.
So like a level of friendship.
No. I mean, wait,
in the talking phase is the establishment of that friendship, that cohesiveness.
Basically getting to know each other. Like, okay, we're gonna do this. Like, but of course that how I look at it is like you have to have maximum communication. And of course, that communication is always different between people and everything like that. But I look at it as getting to know each other. Like, oh, okay, what is your interest? Like that. Like, basically you. Like, say if it's okay, I'm talking to somebody. Like, okay, I'm getting to know you. Like, okay, how's your family? Like, what's going on? Like, how do you live? Like, what's going on? Like, boom, boom, boom. And then after that, I will make my decision. Okay, maybe we should upgrade and go to the actual dating stage. Like, okay, boom. Like, if I feel this will go somewhere, that's how I look at the talking stage. That's how I judge the talking stage.
That would be acceptable if the talking stage had that negative connotation behind it. Because how you're describing it is how it technically should be described and should be put into play, but I don't think it is put into play like that. I think a lot of people take the talking phase as like
just like non-commit. Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel like it's definitely a stage where people use as an excuse to be, I got you, but I'm not necessarily committed to you. Like, I'm fucking her, but I mean, I can still fuck you. You know what I mean? We good, like something like that. You know, like. Basically, like, a commit.
Like, your mom, but I'm not sure what's that thing.
Yeah, basically. Like, who do you guys think?
Before realizing you're too grown to really just have sex. Like, it has to be, like, some form of...
Oh, yeah. Basically, that's kind of...
I was actually talking to one of my friends earlier today, and so she opened my eyes to something else, too. That she asked me about my stance on the situation, on our today's topic. And I told her what I said, but then she also brought forth to my attention. It's not like something that I had no knowledge of, but she was saying like, so what about people who are just they aren't trying to pursue a relationship? Like, what stage are they in? You know, type thing. So it's like it's possible for two people to hang out and not have any desire to move forward past that and like be in a relationship, and just for them to hang out and spend time. Like, you don't.
As far as just two people of the opposite sex, just being like, oh yeah,
like. Whether they get intimate or whatever, but it doesn't have to. Just for them to be dating, they don't have to.
That's for like
try to pursue further. Like,
as far as like fuck buddy or something.
Yeah, like that could be dating too. You know, like in the category. Like, if they're spending time and doing stuff.
Fuck buddy's not dating.
Okay,
it's not.
It's not dating. No.
I mean, it depends. Like if it's strictly what they're doing.
It's just
if they're strictly doing that, then yeah.
Say no time.
If they're strictly doing that, then yeah, I see that.
How you're describing fuck buddy, from how you're describing it is like the epitome of a situationship.
Yeah, that's what most things are, right?
Yeah.
I don't look
this
at.
is 2018.
I don't look at fuck buddy like that. Like fuck buddy is different from talking. Like fuck buddy's like, okay, we friends. Like I'll call you whenever I need a nut, basically. Like, but we don't talk. Like we don't talk. You know, like
that's a
we're not in
different
talking
thing
stage. Huh?
That's a different thing within itself.
Why you say that?
That's a different kind of relationship. Like we just.
Oh, as far as it's like friends with benefits.
Yeah, I'll say that's something within itself. Like that's something else.
Okay. You agree?
Like there's so many different subcategories of relationships. Like you just said, the friends with benefits, talking, for lack of better terms, dating, an actual relationship. You said a situationship.
I don't think it's that complicated to actually break down, though. I mean, I feel you can. I feel you could. I can successfully name all of them.
If the talking phase, how he put it, is actually put into, if it's actually exercised how he describes it, then I could buy into it. But since it's not put in like that,
people just, of course, people are gonna abuse everything as far as because that's how people are. I mean, selfish-based beings crawl across the earth, but. I mean, of course, that's how talking stage is supposed to be, but people are going to definitely look at it a certain way and use it a certain way, like, oh, I mean, yeah, I'm not really committed to you. I mean, we're talking, but are we really committed? We're not really dating. I mean, they can always use that if you really think about it. Like, hey, I mean, we're talking, but are we really dating? Come on. Like, it's like saying, yeah, we're engaged, but are we really married, though? I mean, like what's going on?
They're looking for the loopholes in the contract.
Yeah, basically. So, I mean, that's how it is. But they want to make sure they got something to hold on to. So that's why they need to talk to someone. Like, oh, I'm gonna talk to you, but we're not in a relationship. Like, hold on. Like, you know, so. But who do you guys think it benefits more, like men or women?
Hold on. What benefits?
As far as the talking stage.
Everybody runs their game the same way.
They just got different jerseys on.
Yeah, bro. The game is it's a cycle. The same game we run on women is the same game that they run on us. It's just communicated through different channels and communicated in different ways.
What was the scripture you referenced before?
Oh, the Tupac.
Yeah.
What was it?
We got a game from a woman.
Yeah. I forgot what song it was. That was like 3 weeks ago, bro. My memory's not. I got the memory of a dog. You know how you can hit a dog and then he'll come lay right with you? Oh, fuck that.
That's funny. But that's interesting. But so you think it's
don't come after me, Peter.
So it's like
got no dogs.
So it's like the same.
Yeah, I think that in practice it benefits both parties the same way. I think that because women in theory and sometimes in practice are more emotional driven, it benefits men more because it allows them to get what they want without a relationship. But it's like once women turn that tide and they realize that it's almost like the beginning phases of feminism, to where they're like, okay, it really is my body. Fuck what society says. I'm gonna do what I want to do. Mm-hmm. And then that's when they realize that they can actually be sexually free without any criticism. And then if there is any criticism, like again, it's fucking like it's my body. I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Right.
And then from there, like you have a can of worms that are open, and that's how feminism blows up. I feel like it's part of like recognizing that you are not property. It's your body. Mm-hmm. And so that's like I feel like once that tide is turned, like it's fair game. It benefits both parties just as much. Right.
And you said kind of like, so when both parties are doing it, right? So it's kind of like if one team isn't playing by the rules, I'm assuming that it's like in a negative way, right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
So if one team isn't playing by the rules, so the other team stops playing by the rules too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad. It can get pretty nasty.
Makes sense. There, like what you were saying, as far as like the feminism thing, I feel that's a little bit what I wanted to touch into as far as like, do you think it's generational of how the talking stage is how it developed? You don't think it's like a generational thing?
No.
Because you always see, I'm pretty sure one of you guys have heard at least one time a girl be like, oh, look at that old couple. Like, I don't know how they managed to stay together for so long. Like, oh my God.
The thing that kills me is like people, and I'm one of these people, but people neglect science and everything that's come upon like with the implementation of birth control and all this other stuff. Like if you look back at women who were born in like the 40s and the 30s, they like had like 7, 8, 9 kids. Like that was like the norm. Mm-hmm. Like like we have a lot of uncles if you think about it, uncles and aunts. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I think my dad is one of 8, one of 9. Yeah. So it wasn't that uncommon. It's like more or less that as science evolves and people adapt, and it's like, well, why is this still a thing? They kind of forget their past, not realizing that it's always been like that. It's just like now that women have more of a voice, and now that they're not objectified, they can't be objectified and they can't be materialized. It's like there's always some form of criticism that is used to kick them down per se.
Well, what are you exactly were you referring to as far as like?
We've always been sexually active people.
Right.
No, I was talking about that as far as the talking stage.
Oh, well, no, so
do you think
I don't think the talking stage is
generational.
I think it was like, I think it's always existed. It's just that a name was finally put onto it.
Well, back to the birth control thing. So like prior to the inception, I think it was like the 1960s when it first became big. So like, there's not as much of a consequence of having casual sex. So women were more free to do that. It didn't always like prior to that. If you had sex with it was more likely for you to end up pregnant, even if you use like I guess a condom.
Gotcha. Do you think it's a generational thing or no? As far as the talking stage and how it developed, do you think it's how something millennials came up with, or you think? Well,
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
Nah, I think it was just something that
How
always existed.
How did it exist exactly? Like, how did it?
The same way we go through it today.
So you feel it was pretty much the same thing?
Yeah,
like in slavery time too. It was like,
bro, come on.
Come on, how far are we gonna go back?
I'm just gonna say always existed. So I'm trying to make sure.
I think it's all like.
It's like, hey,
as long as
the girl in the orange change
from the other plantation.
Yeah, hey, I think I got a chance with her. Like, you think something like that? Like, but we just talking now. You know? When do you see it, bro?
Don't nobody talk mass around.
But that's what I was asking. Like, do you think always? Like, because I mean, say for instance, okay, with your parents, did they talk?
No, my parents dated.
They dated. Okay, yeah. So do you? But how do you feel it's always been around though? How do you feel that way?
It's a certain level of maturity that's involved too. Because like you said, your parents dated, so it's like a mutual respect. Versus if you're just talking to somebody, you kind of like downplay. So it's not that it doesn't have there. It's not that level of implicit respect.
Wait, do you feel that's still how it is today? As far as when you're saying, "Oh, I'm talking to somebody," are you still downplaying?
Not always.
Not always. You still people.
But it's still very common for that.
It's still very common. Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that common.
For what? Well, that's because I mean
because I do believe that I agree with him as far as saying when you were saying, oh, I'm just talking to her, like we good. I'm just talking to her. Like, I do think it was at one point downplaying, but I feel it's gotten to actual serious. Like, hey, yeah, we're talking. But of course, some people have used it like, oh yeah, we talking, but whatever.
Just like, okay, so like my parents, for example, and the same one with his. So he just said that his parents they dated.
Mm-hmm.
So he dated your mom, but he talked to, I guess, a few other girls too, right? So you don't have to answer that or confirm or deny. But I'm saying like he talked to them, but you see how far dating went with that. So it's implied you take someone more seriously when you're dating than just talking to them.
Interesting. Okay, so as far as dating, you guys think of dating as far as what exactly? I'm gonna make sure we're on the same page.
Like what is like the definition of dating?
Yes. What is your definition of dating? When two people are dating, what do you?
Two people have a mutual shared interest of some degree, and they're spending time with one another, whether it be coming over and doing something or going out and doing an activity to see if they're compatible to have or to pursue a further relationship.
Oh, okay.
That's what
I was looking at it different. Like when I say
that's why we haven't been on the same page.
Maybe because when I say dating, I'm thinking like when dating is actually in a relationship.
Nah.
That's how I look at it.
No,
dating
it's
is actually
precursor.
In a relationship. I understand how you would think dating, but when I think of dating, I'm like, because talking stage before. Once we figure out, okay, we get to know each other, and then after that, we go to dating, which is the actual relationship. That's how I actually look at it. But
okay,
the actual dating stage, what do you guys manifest as far as what exactly is the dating stage? As far as just talking 2.0, because that's how I look at it. What is that?
Like I said, talking.
So what is the date? What is the talking stage? Then I'm confused.
Like I said, the talking stage is just like if you let's say you meet somebody while you're out at the mall or whatever, or you meet a girl at the mall, right?
Okay.
So you'll text, you call, and see if you're interested in meeting up with her and going out sometime. That's talking. But then once you actually go on
the initiation phase.
Yeah. Once you actually want to date and you continue to date her, you are dating.
So initiating is actually like the talking stage to you guys?
Like the formation of the friendship. That's what we had. Bro, you been asleep?
No, I know. That's why I've been looking at. I just been looking at it different. Like, but what do you guys think though?
Where were you 10 minutes ago? I just said that.
No, it's okay. Maybe you just said it, but it sounded way differently in my head. It just sounded way differently in my head. But that's kind of crazy. No, that's non-existent.
You're hearing what you want to hear.
Nah, as far as talking, like that's how I look at it as far as the talking stage. I don't. Well, maybe people do that. Of course. Well, yeah, people probably do that as far as initiating and then dating stage. But I feel they label it a little bit different. I feel talking is
what we're describing right now isn't what's in practice. It's what's in theory. Like what it should be. Oh, this isn't what it actually is. This is what it should be.
So you think what it should be is that dating
should be the combination of the talking phase.
We're speaking on the archetype.
It should be that friendship that is because
I feel I see why people don't date. I'm like, what stage are we in? Are we in a talking stage? Are we in a dating stage? So I just don't understand. Like, it's like 2.0. I like.
I mean, it's fairly obvious.
How? Like, okay, so you said initiation. Like, I feel like you shouldn't even really rate that even a stage. Like,
I didn't say it was a stage. I'm saying
you said
if you had to define it as anything, that's what that would be.
Okay, so give me an example as far as initiation, like asking her out, or
no, I'm saying like just like I said, if you have interest,
casual conversation.
Yeah, like
casual conversation.
What?
Yeah, you don't know about that.
Casual conversation, man. That leads up to just to see if you feeling each other out.
Yeah, you at the same event out in public. You know, you vibe with the person, you think they're cool.
Okay, when does
you get her number?
You get her number.
Text, whatever, for a little while. And then you decide, hey, you're really cool. I wouldn't mind us hanging out sometime, doing something. Then that's actually a date.
Gotcha, and that goes into the dating stage.
Right.
If
you continue, yeah.
But people don't really go on dates anymore, so
shit.
People don't really go on dates anymore,
bro.
So
don't think like that.
Don't think. What do you mean? As far
they might not call it a date.
They might not call it a date. People still be going on dates, bro. Are you trying to go to the Chrysler Museum? Are you trying to go to the? Let's go on a walk at the park.
Okay, man,
like those are still dates.
It's probably that then. Yeah, it's just
Tell us
unannounced.
What's a date, Josh?
Unannounced dates.
Like you saying where it's not implicit. Like, oh, let's go on a date.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, do you want to come do this? Okay.
Yeah, that's like that. I feel like that's just you two hanging out. That's not if it communicating that it's actual date is.
That's all a date is.
If you
is spending time to see if you like them.
And there's like confusion with like taking women to like the movies and then expecting sex out there. That's not a date. That's prostitution.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Because you're essentially like you're like there's free shit you could do and get sex. There's also shit that you pay for with the expectation of having sex.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna pay, there's prostitutes for that. Like, you should be able to go out on a date, pay for movies, pay for dinner, and not expect nothing.
And just enjoy it for what it is.
If it happens, then it's a natural.
So you don't look
consensual.
You don't feel that's an actual date.
What?
As far as them.
If you're taking a girl out on a date with the intentions of having sex after, no, that's not a date.
That's what I feel. That's what most people do, though.
I don't know what the people.
We're not most people.
Okay, I'm looking at it, of course, not you two, because I know you two are smart people. You probably actually asked the fucking girl out instead of just, hey, you want to hang out? Like, oh yeah, we want to date. Like,
box of Magnum.
Like, of course, but I mean, I'm just looking at it as far as how people like. So, I mean, what do you guys do? Do you actually ask the person? Like, what do you guys think? What do you guys think dating is? Do you guys agree with them? Do you guys agree with me? Is it talking stage in dating, or is the actual talking stage you guys actually talking and dating is the actual relationship? But it's interesting though. But it's kind of weird. I feel that's just like I said, dating, talking 2.0 as far as you guys just going out. But that's interesting.
I mean, you can call it talking 2.0,
but as far so do you guys
just settle down when you're ready to settle down? Until then, have your casual sex.
Wow. As far as okay, when you guys are entering the talking stage, you guys give some type of heads up to the girl, like okay,
no,
so
what you mean?
Because
talking stage.
So women are notorious for feeding off the energy that you give. Some niggas don't know how to regulate their energy. They give relationship vibes for the sense of getting a woman comfortable so they can have sex.
Right.
They don't know how to give that friends with benefit vibe, or they don't know how to be charming through casual conversation, so where there is a known desire for consensual sex without a relationship. Mm-hmm. That shit exists. And there's women that conform and accept this. And then there's niggas who whisper sweet nothings in women's ears and all up in their texts 12, 15 hours out of the day, spend all their time with them, but don't want relationship duties. Like, that's where the disconnect is. So if you know what your intentions are, if you know like you're kicking it with this girl, and you're finding more out about you're finding more about her qualities, her traits, what she's good at, what she's not good at. That's you ultimately setting up for the relationship. Like when you find yourself intrigued about the person and not just the body, the person as in like the personality, the mind, then you're kind of like moving towards that relationship goal. That's where the dating will begin. Like the our definition of dating begins.
It's interesting.
But like, I mean, that's how I perceive it. Like when I was going through the motions previously, like with previous girls, it was like what we're describing as a talking phase. That's what it was. But for like successful relationships or relationship, what I perceived as the talking phase was actually the dating phase, and then there was an actual period for talking phase, like where we were filling each other out, having the casual conversation, establishing a friendship, and then the dating phase came, where we're like, all right, well, let's go out, and that one day turned into 2 days, 2 days turned into 20 days.
Do you feel it's better that way? Or
Yeah, because you know what you're getting into. There's enough samples of trial and error for you to pull from to decide if this was what I want to do or if this is not what I want to do. Some people, they click, and it takes them 20 years to realize what they don't like in a person. There's some people who have to like consistently go on dates, like figure out what the click. That's not to say that y'all aren't meant for each other, but certain people like have walls of protection built up over years because of years of some form of abuse, whether it's emotional abuse or physical abuse, where they are mentally and emotionally inept to opening up on the first go around. Sometimes it takes people 6. Well, I'm not gonna say 6, but sometimes it takes people more than 2, 3, 4, 5 dates to open up to somebody. That's just who they are. You can't judge everybody off of one successful relationship, and you can't judge everybody off of one failed relationship. Same thing with dating. Like, there's the notion that all niggas are the same. Like, that's not true. All women ain't the same.
Wait, what?
I said nobody told her to try them all. Common denominator.
That's interesting.
What you were saying is true. I agree 100%. So like the necessity of talking to someone and getting to know them before you start dating them, it weeds out a lot of problems, like you said. So if you somebody's like overly rude or rude period, or bad habits, or you just find out that you're not compatible, there's no need to pursue going on dates. Because how many times somebody went on a date is just without probably getting to know that person first, and it's just a total nightmare. I mean, we all probably had some of those experiences. You might not come to your head off top, but I'm pretty sure you experienced it.
What the fuck am I doing? This is why I stay at home.
Yeah.
Say that about everything.
I'm probably saying it right now.
You said what?
Probably saying it now.
Oh my god.
No cap.
You said what?
No cap.
That's funny. But I was actually having a conversation with someone about this. Well, not really about it, but it was kind of dealt with it a little bit. It kind of went back to like the generational thing, as far as like not really men's role has changed, but women's role has changed. Like they're seeking more rights. Like they're seeking more rights. Like feminism is coming more prominent. Like
I think feminism is confusing though.
Yeah, I mean, but of course, but it's definitely coming more prominent though today.
Okay, let me rephrase that. I don't think feminism is confusing. I think the interpretations of some form of feminism is confusing.
There's not a clear definition of what you're saying.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Like I am all for women's rights, and you know they're coming to power, but at the same time, like the feminists who not campaign, but like their beliefs are driven behind like we hate men. Like I don't understand those people.
Interesting.
I get like being anti-misogynistic, but at the same time, like putting all men in that basket, you come off like a dickhead, like a prick.
But that kind of goes like them seeking like rights and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, some people have to do that though. Like there has to be those dickheads and those pricks to like get the ball rolling. But today's modern social media age, like there's so many channels of information that confusion cannot be avoided. because there is not one direct source and there's not one direct definition based off of all these interpretations of it.
Are you saying in terms of dating, or are you talking about feminism?
Feminism.
Okay.
But you see how you see where the disconnect is, though.
Yeah.
But that's when I was talking. They was kind of saying that it kind of goes with, you know, how women back in the day, they kind of knew what their role was, and as far as in a relationship, even though that role wasn't, of course, positive, however you viewed it and everything like that, like they had a certain role. Well, now that they're seeking feminism, seeking more rights, everything like that, the role is kind of a little blurred, and then that.
There should be no role, though.
What do you mean?
Okay,
well, when we're talking about role, we're referring to like the housekeeping role.
Yeah, well, yeah, whatever role like you think women is like housekeeping role, like they're this to the men, or they're this to the men, like they're right by the men's side, or some people think the women is behind the men, whatever. But
their role should just be like functioning human beings of society, and they accept their responsibilities as a woman when it comes to like nurturing the child in ways that a man can't. Like can't breastfeed. But once that child is of age to where, and this is like still in the postnatal days, like postnatal phases of like a pregnancy, like once he is able to come in and do it, once man is able to come in and do what he is capable of doing, then that should be where it is now a cohesive parenting relationship, not the mom taking care of the baby for, you know, the first 4, 5, 6 months.
And the dad's just hands off.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, well, now he's of age so I can understand something now. So that's when I'm going to start doing this. Right. It should be from day one, like, it's a 50-50 thing.
Who I was talking to, is actually a woman, but who I was talking to, how they was dealing with it, it's not really necessarily like who's taking care of the kids and stuff like that, but necessarily how the woman is seen kind of by the man.
And how subservient and like a subordinate.
Not necessarily as far as like how the woman should be. Like back in the day, a lot of women was like literally beside the man. Like they was literally a support system. I kind of feel that kind of connected with how you see a whole bunch of adults right now, like older couples and stuff like that. And that's why you see like.
So you're saying it worked?
Yeah, like it worked. Like
to a degree, I would say it worked. It worked better. In a relationship, I do believe that. Well, it's undeniable that men and women, they're both better at certain things, and they both have certain roles. Like I believe that it's a man's role to support a woman and a woman's role to support a man, and they complement each other in different ways. Like women are typically more nurturing,
and a lot of those like old timey relationships where they're like 80 years old, a lot of like what they say when we walk by them is like they communicate to us the importance of submission. Not submission in the sense of like bowing down to the woman, but understanding that her capabilities as a human being might just be superior to what is of a man. Like women's, like as much as they function off of, I'm not gonna say as much as they do, but as much as they are able to function off of emotion, they're just as adept and able to function off of logic.
Right.
And so a lot of women in those time frames were paying the bills. Like men go out and make the money, then the woman would handle finances, making sure everything got paid on time.
Yeah. I think that's where a woman's strength lies is her ability to support and influence.
And then the relationships last because there's a genuine appreciation from the man, not like, oh, well, this is what you're supposed to do.
But yeah, that's what I was about to go into as far as how they felt like women stopped because of I'm not saying like that, but I'm feel like because women started seeking their own rights, they started thinking about the man and everything like that, so they stopped supporting him in a certain way. And in relationships, as far as that actual stage, like I actually learned like men will carry the relationship, but it also depends on the woman. They have to have that support system. Well, it could be, while women today is, I'm not criticizing any women, but women today has come more of like a criticism thing where they criticize the man rather than supporting them. I feel that's.
But just on the counter side of that, we have to be worthy of being supported.
Yeah, of course.
Somebody's already thinking that.
Yeah, of course.
The video's not even live yet, and somebody's thinking that.
Yeah, of course, definitely. I'm just thinking because when I heard that, and this is from a woman, of course. I heard this from women. I heard that, I was like, damn, because that kind of happened to me. Like I was thinking, like kind of happened to me. Like it was more criticism rather than support. So that's why.
Absolutely.
But yeah. But that's how I felt because just women stop supporting. They kind of more go into like criticizing. But of course, not all women know. But do you guys agree? Like, do you guys don't agree?
I do agree. I think it's an attribute.
I think it's a 50-50 like accountability thing.
Right.
As far
to where like men are just guilty of constructive criticism as women are instead of understanding that it needs to be honest criticism. Mm-hmm. Constructive is like you explaining what's wrong and like you're the issue, whereas honest criticism is like you're able to like explain what's wrong and then how can we work together to better the situation. Like this, oh well, you should try this, you should try that. Whereas I take constructive criticism as you just explaining what's wrong and then expecting that other person to take the initiative to, you know, go and change it on their own. That's how I take constructive criticism.
Really? I saw it the other way with the honest and constructive. Mm-hmm. But we both realize there's a distinction. Yeah. I feel like men and women both, we've atrophied in our ability to have, well, in the skills that it takes to maintain a relationship. Like, so on the point that you used, the women are less supportive and like the worthy of being supported, like sometimes.
Yeah, that's definitely a opponent in it. Of course, women they start thinking about more themselves. Like they're like, hey, it's about me now.
Yeah, you gotta look up for yourself.
Yeah, like it's a different time now. So it's like it's about me. Like I'm first. Like man, whatever. But it's about me now. I'm got to grow myself. So I feel that comes with it too. Like that's why like. Maybe that goes with standards being higher, like with the criticism thing. So be like, oh, maybe I'm looking at you like you should be. Come on, what you doing with your life? Like that comes with more criticism. Because like, oh, they see feminism like, oh, I'm much better than this, and so your man should be much better than this. So that could go into it too. So it just depends. I'm just throwing out ideas. So right. I don't know what you got.
Another thing is, I feel like a big problem is in a relationship. A lot of times, like it's looking as a competition. Versus them trying to collaborate and work with each other. It's like someone's always trying to outdo each other and, you know, comparing like, okay, so I need to do this or do that. Versus working together, which we're naturally designed to complement each other. We're different for a reason.
Yeah, the competition thing, that kind of goes back to how I felt like what I do in relationships. I feel like people think I do too much and like, oh, it's competition. I don't know if I can like keep up with this. So that's what that goes back to like a different episode though. But that's how I feel. Do you guys think, well, I kind of feel, I haven't really thought about it much, but you feel like men's reaction to like feminism and how women are becoming more rights kind of created the talking stage? Well, I know you don't think it's kind of...
I think feminism is something like really, really modern, like within the past. Like the growth of feminism has always been there. But I feel like I am seeing it more present day than what it was back 10 years ago when the talking phase was like.
You don't feel they kind of put it like a label on it now as far as you don't feel women has kind of been trying to do it, but...
Put a label on talking phase?
No, put a label on the feminism as far as like, okay, this is called feminism.
No, because I mean, if you think about it, like... Well, fuck it, it's still relevant today. Like, I was thinking, even like 2000s, the... women like on a scale, like when you look at women in hip hop, like think back to like early 2000s. I can't remember what Nelly song it is, but when he swipes the his debit card down, like that's like that shit like that exists now, but it's like it's not as common as it was. It wasn't
always
like,
backlash.
Yeah. Like it's not those music videos aren't as common. Like you don't see women as objectified present day as you did before, but I mean I feel like this just that could be the same thing where it's like multiple outlets now to where that criticism is going to be 10 times what it was when Nelly put out that video.
Right.
Like that shit was crazy.
But that just talks about the way the climate is with us anyway. It's how you can say anything and it's gonna be you're gonna get a response.
Yeah.
There's going to be some kind of consequence for it. You're going to offend someone.
Interesting. But yeah. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree? How has the talking stage affected you guys? But just to expand a little bit more on it. What you said as far as men, of course, has to be worthy of it and everything like that. I do agree as far as that. Like, of course, the criticism comes with like, this guy's not worthy. Like, it depends. But do you guys feel that it comes with not really like maturity as far as when it comes to women, as far as them picking?
Absolutely.
You think so?
You're saying maturity on her part or
Her part.
the male's part?
Her part. Well, the men part too, definitely. Do you feel men?
I feel everyone needs to be with somebody who matches their maturity level. That solves a lot of problems.
It's also hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rare. Next time.
I'm not gonna say. Well, yeah, it could be rare, but I was saying it's just hard to find.
Do you feel that it's kind of it's made women look for something that not really can be seen, but kind of look for high expectations, like the bar that can be reached, or?
Well, see, look, you have to look at people being incongruent in their wants and needs. So they'll say that they want, well, a lot of times, so this is from a guy's perspective. So I've seen, for example, guys who say that they want this an educated woman and someone who carries herself well, wifey material type things, they can do all these things and support. But the women that they pursue and chase after have very little of those qualities. They just have a fat ass, maybe like some long hair, or just something like that. And it's not really what you say and what you do aren't really matching up. They don't align.
Let's see. Interesting.
I mean, it's not exclusive to one gender either.
Yeah, I mean,
people across the board.
Yeah.
Not to say you women with fat asses can't
I mean, you can have a fat ass and be educated.
be educated. The two aren't mutually exclusive.
But what do you guys think? Let us know. Comment below. Basically, in the talking stage, do you agree with Bryan and Desmond? Is the talking stage for you guys basically getting to know each other, while the dating stage is the actual relationship, or is it different? Let us know, okay? But we're going to see you guys next time. Like, as you know, Mr. Joshua Freeman, Bryan Carey, Mr. Desmond Tillmon. Let us know. Peace.